Well, hey everybody, this is Don with the Vlog of Many Things, and with me tonight is Eric Tenkar, Glenn Hallstrom, Stephen
Hi,
Lake,
folks.
and David Flor, the White Rabbit. David, how
Hello.
you doing tonight?
All right. I've been waiting for this for the past several hours. So
That's right. Buy Glenn's book, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's the video.
Find my book.
All right. Fugly, how you doing? Douglas Pearson, how you doing? Thaiatus, how you doing? Valamir, how you doing? David, this is like the first time we had you on the show, or maybe the second?
I've been on the show before, just with less people.
Yes. We
We're
get crowded
crowding out.
today.
I don't handle crowds well, so let's see how this goes.
That's all right.
All right.
Headless Bourgeois says, I love Zork. Oh, wait, Zonk. Guess I'll stick around and find out. Yes, we're going to talk about Zonk tonight. We're going to talk about Atomic Age, David's RPG. So, David, how are you this evening? Doing well?
Doing all right.
All right. So, shall we just dive right into this? Just why not?
Thank you, Doug.
Tell me what you want me to talk about.
Do you really want to do that? All right.
Well, that's really interesting.
Yes, it was. So basically, for those who don't know, David is coming out with a role-playing game. The Kickstarter is going to be sometime this year, correct, David?
That's the plan.
For Atomic Age, the RPG, plus me and David's been in development of an online game called ZONK, which is kind of like a mix of Zork, Eye of the Beholder kind of mix. So we're going to be talking about those two games tonight. And so basically, we can just kind of dig right into it. You want to kind of give people kind of the overview of your game, Atomic Age, the RPG?
Okay. Atomic Age is a post-apocalyptic D20 based role-playing game. It exists because a long time ago I wanted to create Gamma World content, and Wizards of the Coast hit me with a cease and desist order. So
Bastards.
I decided to make my own game with blackjack and hookers, like they say.
Why not?
That's the name of the game? What?
Glenn's like, hookers, blackjack?
we
What's the name of the game?
We went through multiple iterations. It's actually called Atomic Age because it originally was based on it was used for
You are really fading in and out, David.
I am?
Yeah.
Sound-wise, yeah. Yep.
It just could be me.
Yeah, there you go. Now you sound better.
Okay. All right. But yeah, it was originally based on 13th Age mechanic, and basically built the whole thing on 13th Age. And then we decided, then we tried 5th edition for a bit, and we ended up creating our own system.
Mm-hmm.
And we're basically, I pick and choose some features from. It's very crunchy because that's just what I am. I'm a software architect, mathematics, and computer science major. So anything I create is going to be very crunchy.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Why not?
It tends to be. So it's very mathy. So yeah, and I've been working on it for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about time we get the thing out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a post-apocalyptic RPG.
Correct.
Now, a couple things about Atomic Age is I'm going to be doing the layout of it for you. And we're kind of, for those who don't know, David and me are working on, along with Atomic Age, David and me are kind of doing a trade. I'm going to be doing all his layout and some of the artwork, and David's doing a lot of the primary coding for Zonk. David, I'll kind of let you do it. You want to give kind of an overview of what Zonk is?
Zonk is you actually can probably describe it better than I can.
Zonk is kind of like if you took Eye of the Beholder and mixed it with Zork. So it's kind of a graphical, text-based. There's a character tracker in there. You pick up items in the dungeon. You can use them, spells, that type of thing. Eventually, we're going to be.
It is heavily inspired by the original Infocom games, Zork,
Yes.
Zork and the like, with some graphic interface elements on
Yes.
top of it. It is a browser-based game.
Yes.
With behind the scenes, it's got a I mean, it's not as extensive as your typical RPG, but it does have RPG mechanics that are part of it.
Yes.
And
Hold on one second. I will fix the text right now. Everybody's hating on me about everything. You guys are stressing me out, okay? There. Feel better? There. How's that?
And you can actually pull the box up and expand the box.
Oh gosh, we got Eric in the house now. Eric is there.
There we go. I do too many of these live streams. Oh my god!
Yep.
It looks beautiful on my new monitor. Thank you.
Nice. So that's basically what ZONK is. Again, it's heavily Infocom text-based game influenced with some graphical interfaces with it. It's going to have, you're going to be able to create a character. You're going to be able to have eventually several dungeons or different adventures you can go into. There's several different characters. We have mage-based characters, fighter-based characters, healer/cleric-based characters. So it's not just you just choose an adventure and go. If your jam is magical spells, you can be a cleric or a healer. In the game we call it, or a mage. And if you want to be a fighter, you can be like a barbarian, that type of thing. So, and David is the man behind the magic, behind the scenes. A lot of work has went into this, and I want to stress that real quick. Just like with Atomic Age, the game Atomic Age is so well thought out. David has done a really good job of really just digging into it, and it's a really solid game. And I think we did that with ZONK too.
I am personally really happy with the tech behind ZONK.
Yeah.
With how it all works.
Yes. And to David's credit, and this game would not have been possible without David. What's really cool about ZONK is also, and I want to get more into Atomic Age, but some people have been asking about ZONK, is what I like about it is as you're going through the dungeon, as an example, you run to a chest. You can choose to try to open the chest. If the chest is locked, you can try to break open the chest. You might find magical items. You can choose to pick up those magic items, or you can leave them. Throughout the game, you want to go ahead and you may find like a white scroll. You can choose to use that scroll. And what I think is pretty cool is if you choose to use it, you're warned. Like, are you sure you really want to do this? So you make that decision whether or not you want to do it. But the big thing is, and we're kind of changing it now a little bit. It was more graphical in the sense that each room had like a graphic, but I think logistically it's going to go more towards text, but with the character graphic on there and the ability to have equipment and spells and gear. So we're kind of going more text based in the core, but it's just kind of a work in progress. And like I said, there's been a lot of work done on this game.
And I mean, it is effectively a dungeon crawler. It is. Yeah. I like the term pseudo-random because we basically have a pile of rooms, a pile of chests, a pile of traps, a pile of monsters, and it systematically builds a 40-room dungeon that is pseudo-random. And it's got things like behind it, like if you decide to smash a chest because you can't pick it, it actually behind the scenes it increases the probability of the next room having an encounter.
Yes, because you're making noise.
Yeah, little things like that.
Mm-hmm. And what I really like about it also is my age range. I'm 58, so I grew up on things like Zork and text-based adventures. And I think the nice thing about ZONK is for people who, the more modern gamer who wants more visual, visceral type gaming, it will somewhat appeal to them, but also the more old school gamer, OSR type gamer, it'll appeal to them. And the math behind it is kind of like dummy proof. You don't got to worry about it. But I would say that the math behind it is 5e based. Would you say, David?
Mostly. I mean, I wouldn't say there's skills per se, but there are attack rolls, skill checks without, I think they're technically like 3 skills.
Yeah.
You're either good at finding things, good at fixing traps, and good at magic.
Yes.
That's basically it.
Yeah. So, and again, I'm going to probably say this many times in this video, but without David, this just would not have been a thing. I mean, I approached David, was it been 3 years now? Almost. Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Jesus.
I have my ZONK book right there. It's been 3 years. And
I am late.
yeah, let's not talk about it later, okay? But the big thing is another thing that's going to be that ZONK is going to be really heavily based on is we're going to be taking a look at what other people say. So as people are playing the game, there's going to be a place on the website that people are going to be able to give feedback. So if you have ideas on how to make the game better, we're all for it. We want to hear it. Again, the game is going to grow because David's installing. In fact, we're kind of dealing with that right now. Is working on the admin panel in the background to where I'll be able to, or David, or whoever's working on it, will be able to add dungeons or sewers or that type of thing into it. So the game will constantly be evolving. No two games are the same also. So if you get killed in the third room in and you want to restart, it's a whole different ballgame because it's random.
It actually builds. It pre-generates. I think it's 30 different dungeons for each scenario.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you go back in, you'll just have a different. Speed.
Yeah. So mathematically, the chances of playing the same game are very, very slim. I mean, you're always going to have something new and interesting. Kind of getting back to Atomic Age is, I guess one of my questions for you, David, is when you take a look at Atomic Age, the RPG, what differentiates that between any other like Traveler or Shadow Dark or D&D? What sets Atomic Age apart from those other type of RPGs besides being post-apocalyptic?
The main thing is that I've taken basically piecemealed a lot of mechanics from multiple different game systems that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I have a bonus die and penalty die mechanic, which is from games like Shadow the Demon Lord. Mm-hmm. I have an action point economy, which is very Pathfinder-ish.
Pathfinder, yep.
There's still some stuff that is from 13th Age, like triggers on natural even die rolls or natural odd die rolls or things of that effect. So it's basically, it boils down to being the system that I wanted. Mm-hmm. Just personally, just things I liked.
Yep.
And my biggest problem is that one of the main reasons why I haven't done a Kickstarter yet, and to be fair, I did try a Kickstarter, but it was a comedy of errors and everything went wrong, so we actually canceled. We tried that last year and we realized we weren't going to make it, so we canceled in the hopes that we'll.
And this is something to David's credit. I want to say something real quick. I want to say two things. Number one, in answer to Douglas Pearson's question, we'll be posting when it's live where you can play the game ZONK. But also regarding the Kickstarter, this has not been a half-assed thing by David. David wants to do this 100% correct. And to his credit, he realized that when the Kickstarter launched last year, it just was not kind of jamming the way it needed to be. So Dave was like, you know what? I'd much rather pull it down, do it right when it's time to come to do it.
I had planned, like you say, I don't want to half-ass this. Can I launch a Kickstarter with $100 goal like a lot of people do? Yes.
Yeah, so you can say, I funded in 10 minutes.
Yeah, but there's a very high probability, and I cannot personally risk being in the red.
Yeah.
As another thing, as far as a Kickstarter, I actually had lined up a company to do promotion for it. Mm-hmm. And literally, two things happened. Literally the day before I was going to launch the Kickstarter said, wait, we have to review your financials. So Kickstarter itself delayed me a week. Secondly, the company that I was going to use for promotion dropped me because I didn't make a video. Which, okay. So next time I will make some sort of video.
Well, I mean, and I know we just mentioned this. I didn't know about that. I can do a promo video like I did for D20.
Yeah.
That's simple. It's easy stuff. But
at the time, I didn't realize that was like, that was a deal breaker.
Yeah. But I'll tell you something. Another thing about David is he's thorough. You can tell he's a programmer because he has this thing. I know the back end math on this. He shared it with me. This guy's got this thing nailed down to how much do pencils cost, and I'm going to be using on this thing to be, writing the code with. I mean, you just really nailed this down, the math. But you're taking
let me
it
give you an idea of a better picture of that. For the monster math, I have multiple spreadsheets. I actually wrote an application in C# to do my math for me.
Mm-hmm.
So every monster's math is mathematically calculated down to the decimal.
Yep.
So everything is dead on.
He means that, by the way, people,
Yeah.
down to the decimal point.
Yeah. That's how much of a, I don't like to use the term anal, but yeah.
Obsessive compulsive.
David,
Okay.
for people
That'll work. That'll work.
You are a little bit on the uptight side. A little bit.
Uptight is am I uptight? Really? I mean, I'm a comedy of errors, sure. like my Twitter account says, my purpose in life is to serve as a warning for others.
Okay, now, real quick, Atomic Age. Is it class based? Is it there's classes and races? Is there skills?
Yes.
What?
There are classes. There are.
What's your favorite class? And
I
why?
just added a class a day ago.
Okay, but what's your favorite class in the game and why?
I'm the class that I created a class that's calling a resident, which is basically a sonic based spellcaster.
Oh, you got psionics in there.
Sonic sound. Yes,
Yeah,
I do have a scion. Yes.
Yes.
But this new class is based on frequencies and basically themed around sound and audio and frequencies and all that. And I created it literally 2 days ago. With a new, I have these things called powers that be, which are loosely based on icons from 13th Age.
Mm.
Although they're not necessarily as ingrained into in 13th Age, icons are basically the entire game.
Yeah. But the thing is, so what you're doing is your role playing game is pulling from so many different systems and kind of just integrating everything into something very unique, congeals into something unique.
So the powers that be are I have 9. Well, I have 10 now because I also created one a few days ago. Because the Michigan area didn't have one. That's I actually about that, yeah. I put together. I drew a map and then each area and cut off all the sections and the Great Lakes.
Oh, you're gonna tell people about it, not surprise them?
The Great Lakes, Michigan area. I'm not gonna say what it is. I'm not gonna say the new power that be. But it's not you, so and it's in northern Michigan.
Northern Michigan, yeah.
But yeah, that whole area was missing something, and then it just dawned on me to put it all together.
Yeah, because real quick for people, because people I think are kind of jumping to some conclusions in their mind. I know I would be. Just for people who don't know, is the game is broken up into regions in the United States. Was that a good way of putting it?
Yeah.
So different regions have different unique things that are going on about it. Because again, it's post-apocalyptic. Is that when you say post-apocalyptic, nuclear war, David?
I am purposely vague.
Yes, but
another thing is that I intentionally try to be as vague as possible because things like that, I feel that those are up to the game master to, whatever they feel appropriate.
Yeah.
So throughout the book, I refer to just as the fall. And whether that was climate change, whether it was nuclear war, that was a combination of things, I make suggestions about all the possibilities, but I don't stick to anything definitive.
Okay. Now, and again, for my co-host, if you guys have questions, by all means, chime in, jump in.
Somebody just asked if you could play a mutant.
Yes. Yeah. So I have the classes I have are Channeler, Engineer, Scion, Scout, Veteran, Resident, and Marauder, which cover like Marauder's a barbarian, Veteran is like a paladin, Channeler is like an elemental caster, Scion, Engineer is like a artificer.
So I guess I'm going to ask some questions, and although I know the answers, I want you to kind of expand on them. I'm not trying to, you know, I, I've read the game multiple times. I've been kind of going through it with layout with you, so I know it.
It's
But
actually it's. I haven't given you the PDF in a long time, so it's probably
so it's
right.
changed since then.
Probably.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm kind of leading. I'm going to give you some leading questions then.
Sure.
So we know about the classes. Now, are there different races in the game?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
I refer to them as genotypes,
Yes.
and although I predefine certain ones, you can be a human, you can be a plant, you can be what I refer to as a synthetic. You can create a class that's a genotype that's an anthro for anthropomorphic.
Yes.
I also include rules where you can basically create your
own. Yes.
own.
Yeah.
You specify a frame, whether you're light, agile, heavy, and then there's a pool of characteristics that you can. So if you want to be a character that's a walking hippo, there's a means by which you can become that.
See, that's what I like about your game, though. That's part of one of the things that really kind of got me, more into it is that there are mechanics within the game that allow the player to create their own unique race. So you're not kind of constrained by what Dave's telling you have to play. You can only be an elf or a cleric, or not. Oh, sorry, or a gnome or whatnot, or dwarf. You can actually kind of create your own being, if you will. So you got races, you got classes. Now, would you say that there are skills involved in this game?
There are skills, yes.
Okay, can you kind of give an overview of what those are?
There are 7 ability scores. Well, technically 8. Strength. Let me see if I remember what they are. Strength, intellect, vitality, willpower, awareness, personality, and luck. And I'm probably missing one. And then based on those, there are various different skills. I mean, they're you look at them and they're very D20-ish.
Mm-hmm.
But and I don't have I don't have instead of charisma, I have personality, and instead of intimidation or persuasion or things like that, I have speechcraft, I have charm, things like that.
Now, going from letter A to letter Z, is you have underneath your name the White Rabbit. Yep. Now, yesterday I did a nice handy graphic for this show, and I did a mouse. And Mr. Flor very pointedly messaged me and said, "A fucking mouse? It's a rabbit." So I had to change it. So, David, let me ask you this question. When you look at your photo, to my defense, and I don't know if anybody else thought this, but does his freaking photo online look like a bloody mouse to anybody? Oh, sure. Nobody's going to say yes.
It's not bloody.
It's not the first time that comes up.
So why?
And it drives me crazy.
Okay, what's the big deal about a rabbit?
Long time ago, I created an alternate reality game online where the main quote-unquote character was an artificial intelligence called Joshua, based on the War Games computer, and its avatar was a white rabbit. With if you look at the high resolution version of my icon, its eyes have binary code in it.
Oh, is that why they're green?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
So that just kind of I kind of just stuck with that, and I use that everywhere. I even use it at work, which I'm not supposed to.
Gotcha.
And everybody tells me, "Hey, you need to for your in Microsoft Outlook, you need to have a photo of what you look like." And nope, it's the
now without breaking any of your work rules, okay? And I don't know how much of this question you can answer, but you are a computer game coder, correct? By trade.
Correct.
Okay. Can you talk about what type of coding do you do, or is that a no go?
I think
Totally respect it.
I can
Let's not touch it.
work.
Let's not take a chance.
No, I can.
Okay.
I've this come up. I work with a company that develops online slot games for the online casino industry.
Okay.
I am at liberty to say I think that we are a subsidiary of Games Global.
Okay.
I mean, I have made aware that I was involved with the D&D slot game that came out a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only game that I've been allowed to say that I was involved with. Because
Now-
I wasn't even a developer. I was the technical consultant.
Oh, you
Gotcha.
play games like this. We need your opinion. Okay.
Yes, I'm like, we don't want you coding. We just, does this beholder look right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, quick question about when you look at Atomic Age, okay, it is a fully developed role playing game. What would you say is what was the hardest part about developing your own role playing game?
There's a lot of writing. The biggest problem I have, like, I am very good with mechanics. I'm very good with numbers, with crunchy stuff, with rules and whatnot. But
Mhm.
when it comes to writing lore, it has always been a struggle.
Now, have you gotten other people involved in this to help you out with it? Is there anybody involved like that?
Not fully yet. I've been, over the years, I have expanded on it. But like the lore section, I have a chapter that explains the geography of the northern United States.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I think it's only 2 pages long.
Yeah, it's not that long, that area of the book or the game. No.
Yeah. So I put very little effort into that.
Okay.
So
Now, does the game primarily have a lot of stock art in it? I know I'm maybe doing some artwork for you, but what about the other?
Right now, the only art it has is first of all, before I continue, I am not an artist, not a creative artist.
No, you're a technical guy. You're a technical
I can't draw a decent square at gunpoint. So, but I do have graphics for each of the powers that be.
Yep.
I do have graphics for each of the genotypes. That's as far as I've gone, and I created a map of the United States, which is basically taking clip art of the United States and drawing lines and circles on it.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, I have no art right now. Not a one.
Well, the nice thing about it is that I'll be reaching out to people like Eric Lofgren and Dean Spencer, and also I got to talk to James Michael Spahn. I'm doing a layout for him for his game, and he has access to a lot of cool different stuff, and I've already briefly mentioned you to him, and I want to kind of follow up with that this probably tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's a good day for him because tomorrow's Friday. We're having a Friday meeting.
My biggest problem in all of it, and it's a problem I've had with pretty much anything that I've published, is when I had to do the cover for one of my adventures, and I knew the artist I wanted. I like, for the cover of The Coming Dark, Chapter 1, which I published, I hired Brian Patterson, D20 Monkey, and he's like, "Okay, what do you want on your cover?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Here's the adventure. Read it. Think of something." Artists don't like that.
No.
No. That's why there's art directors. Go ahead, Eric. Sorry about that.
I've been there. And it's like, what do you mean draw what I want?
But that's the thing with Spawn. That's what James Michael Spahn does. He's like, okay, all the artwork is in for Chapter 1 in the Chapter 1 folder. Unless you don't like it, then you can go ahead and do whatever you want. It's like pressure, pressure,
Right.
But even with you, when we first talked about this, you brought up, "Oh, do you want the inside art in color or do you want it in black and white?" I'm like, I don't know.
Well, that matters because for those developing a game, and me and David's kind of gone through this, and this is kind of like a lesson to anybody developing a role-playing game. It doesn't matter what your genre is. Really, the first topic you really need the decision you need to make is my book my game going to be full color on the inside or black and white? And keep in mind, and I've run into this a lot, is I've ran into creators where they'll say, well, it's black and white because all I need is red, like only in a couple spots, some red text. It doesn't matter if you're not, it doesn't matter if it's a 400-page RPG game and you have one sentence in there that's red, the entire game is considered color because it's all digital print now.
Mhm.
So the printers don't differentiate between it. You have to set it broadly to color or black and white. So you can have one word on page 379. The word, dice can be red. If that's the only word in there that's color, the entire game will be priced as color.
And we'll have to talk about that. Is like right now, all my another thing that people find really weird. I do all my writing in InDesign.
Yes.
Like I do all my writing at the time of layout.
Yes. No. I know.
I know.
I know. Me and David's had this discussion several times.
Like on an editor, it's like, oh, just give it to me in a Word document. I'm like, I don't have that. Here, take this PDF, fix it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, can't do that.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, because you have to understand something about InDesign. InDesign is the final layout tool. So if in chapter 1 it's tightly ended, so like the last page is right tight to the bottom, and during your edit you're adding several parts in chapter 1. When you're adding something at the beginning of chapter 1, it kind of domino effects down chapter 1. So instead of ending on page 31, it might end on page 36. So it affects broadly the layout, and then that affects all the other pages. And again, it's like a stack of dominoes going dump, 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 dump.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way those programs work.
Yes. So David does it absolutely the most brilliantly difficult way that you can do it. But again, that's how David's brain thinks, because I'm used to David now. David just, but you're a very analytical thinker. I notice how you do it also. It's almost mathematical how you are doing the layout. It's really strange. In fact, you and James Michael Spahn, although Spahn does it also in Word, so he doesn't do it in InDesign, thankfully. But you and him think a lot alike in the way that you do your rules and the way that you kind of lay things out and such. It's really interesting. So, and you two, by the way, also are very similar in how easy you are to get along with. I like that as a layout specialist when someone says, I'm going to rely upon you to kind of help me through this instead of going, no, it must be this way, because then you make my job real hard. But Scott Mulder says, he says, oh, I don't know any artists who work for cheap and works with Wizard Tower Games. Who could that be? Scott Mulder is an excellent artist, and he's very good at sci-fi, techno. And by the way, for people who don't know, I'm sorry, I'm going to push it. Did you know Scott Mulder has his own LP record out now?
Wait, people still have record players?
Scott does, like, it's almost like a V&V Nation techno vibe music. I like it. So, but
dude, I only have one record left from my childhood, and that was the Mad Magazine LP insert for Steve Martin's "Walk Like an Egyptian." So.
Oh wow!
Or whatever it was. Yeah,
King Tut.
King Tut. Yeah, there we go. I have that. I have nothing to play it on, but I still have that floppy little thing from Mad Magazine. So,
well, Mr. Mulder does techno vibe music, and he's very good at it. But he also does very good artwork too. So, David, with Scott's permission, I'll send you Scott's information. Very easy to deal with.
I thought you were going to be my art director.
I can be your art director, but the thing is, if you want me to hire him, okay, fine. Mulder, $600 a black and white image. I'll hire you. No?
Ooh, I could learn art.
Like, oh, yeah, I'll break out the pencil.
I can trace anything. Come on. Oh, wait, I'm not watching. Never mind. Did I say that?
Oh, boy.
Big bucks. So you did famously get a CND from Wizards of the Coast.
Yes, I did.
Can you care to elaborate? Come on, it's something to brag about.
I'm trying to remember when it was. It was 13 years ago. It was literally the week before Gen Con. and I was going to my first Gen Con. I created an adventure. I don't know if I could legally talk about it. Well, whatever. It's been 13 years, so screw it. I created an adventure for Gamma World called Fire from the Sky.
Ooh.
All right.
And part of the problem was it was in the 4th edition days, and I created say what you will of 4th edition, it was great for publishers because
I like fourth edition.
the math just balanced itself, and it was great for that. But
Eric's
anyway,
being quiet. Eric, comment?
I know nothing.
anyway, Mike Meros did an AMA on Reddit, and I asked him the question: is Gamma World part of the 4th edition SRD? And at the time, he answered yes. Guess what? It's not. So I published my thing, and then I got a letter literally the week before Gen Con from Wizards attorneys saying, hey, this is bad, so you need to destroy this and pretend it never happened, or we will sue you, into the earth, basically.
Well, that's how Mutant Future happened, because they didn't have it, and he had to use
right.
BX.
So I pulled I'm like, okay, I'm fear of God at the time, so I pulled it Fire from the Sky is actually now is going to be part of is the sample adventure in the Atomic Age book.
Good.
Changed with it's the same layout, it's just with the new mechanics. And I have a bunch of other adventures and stuff planned as stretch goals or whatnot, and
Real quick,
things.
what are some of the stretch goals that you're going to be offering with Atomic Age?
I have at least 3 adventures planned.
Okay.
One, a death trap dungeon, and a couple of others. I have a website with the intent that you would be able to use it kind of like D&D Beyond, but maybe not that extensive.
So like a VTT?
No, it's more like you can create characters, you can create monsters, keep an online database of your personal creations, things like that.
So people will be able to sign up for an account on this website. Correct. And do creating underneath it and all that. That's really cool.
And I'm trying to remember what other stretch goals I have, but I think that was it. And like I just created a new class, and at first I thought, well, I can make this a stretch goal, but to insert that after the fact is difficult. So I said, screw it, and now I've spent the last 2 days on and off, time permitting, adding it into the basically doing the legwork to add it in. That's all I can think of. And like initially, I had my original Kickstarter had a stretch goal of like 12K, because, like I said, I can't risk being in the red.
Yeah.
And after doing all the math and figuring out how much an editor costs, an editor editing. It's 2 books. It's a 260-page core manual and a 200-page monster manual. And, having an editor edit 500 pages is not exactly cheap.
Well, not only that, but they're editing not a novel, they're editing an RPG, so they're doing the rules, they're making sure it's all cohesive. So it's not even a line edit. They're doing more of a complete content edit to it too. So that adds heavily to the cost.
That was literally, I can show you, I have multiple spreadsheets where I was doing that. That's the way I am. Multiple spreadsheets doing the math for Kickstarter, and editing was like 60% of my cost.
Yeah. Well, let me kind of jump back to ZONK real quick, just because I'm trying to get through some things. But so ZONK is browser based, but what are you coding the actual site with? What is the language, if you don't mind?
From a technical standpoint, it is C#. It is C#.
C#.
The backend database is MySQL.
Yep.
It is all coded by hand. I do not
Yeah.
do any vibe coding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being forced to use vibe coding at work, but I'm trying to avoid using it on personal development projects.
And real quick, David, for people who don't know lingo, please tell people that are watching this, what is vibe coding?
Vibe coding is using an AI to write code for you, basically. I mean, that is the simplest explanation of it.
So
Using
vibe writing
tools like OpenCode,
Oh.
Copilot, Cursor, things of that nature, and LLMs to do the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been a programmer for over 40 years, so
Yeah.
that is to do that for development is a personal hard sell.
Yeah. So, let me ask you this question regarding, for anybody out there watching this who are kind of looking at this going, I'd really like to go ahead and, do my own role playing game. In your opinion, what are some things that you would definitely suggest for them to kind of initially kind of start doing now, or what are some of the important things they need to get out of the way in the very early on stages to do an RPG right, in your opinion?
RPGs basically have, well, for starters, what am doing or what I've done is okay.
Power went out.
What I'm doing or what I've done is way too much. Way too much for any normal person to try to do.
Yeah.
And basically, any RPG is two parts. It's setting and the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So if there are some people that can just create an RPG mechanics, and basically like take Fate for instance. The mechanics are hard set, and the rules are defined without a setting in mind, and then supplemental books are wrapped around are the setting wrapped around those mechanics. Same thing with Cypher, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on, and then there are different schools of thought as to you want to create an RPG that's crunchy or an RPG that's quote unquote rules light. I mean, it really depends how much effort you want to put into it.
Mm-hmm. So,
the easiest way in is to use a system that's already in place. I mean, there are plenty of SRDs out there. You can create your campaign setting for D&D. I mean, there's a new one on Kickstarter every 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that for D&D. You can do that for Cypher. You can do that for Pathfinder. You can do it for multiple different systems with readily accessible SRDs that you can use to create your campaign setting. If you want to create your whole new mechanic, your whole new RPG, that is a different monster entirely.
Yeah. Now, what are some things? Okay, you talked about some things to look out, to do. What are some things that you would suggest people avoid at all costs when first starting out with an RPG?
It really depends what you want to do. I mean, like I said, usually the mechanics are the hardest thing. Your most campaign settings, your selling point is what mechanic they are using, or some campaign settings are released across multiple mechanics. A campaign setting could be released for Pathfinder, it could be released for D&D at the same time, at 5e at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
The mechanics aspect, to create mechanics from scratch, that is a significant amount of effort that not everybody can do, because it is a highly analytical process.
Mm-hmm.
Balance is the hardest thing to do, because you can't just think, oh, I'm going to create a new class. That class has to be equal ultimately in overall to everything else that you create.
Well, and that's interesting you talk about that, because that's one thing that Tim and me got into when we were talking about open worlds, which is going to become the pen and paper version of ZONK now. David went ahead and created, the Goblin race, and he made some very unique parts of it. But I remember when he was going through the race of the goblins, there was like a whole checklist that he had to watch out for, like, because it's almost like the pebble in the water effect. It's not the splash that's going to get you; it's the ripples that kind of fly out from it, and how that interacts with other things in the ethera, if you will. So Tim was really big on, be careful what you're doing, because you got to not only look at what the immediate is, but what is the long-term effects it has within the game and the game mechanics and how everything kind of interacts, especially with things like classes and such.
And like any game, like even video games, if there is something that is overpowered or easily exploitable or something like that, people will zero in on that.
Yeah.
And then basically the rest of your game will lose its luster.
Do you think that's what happened with 5e, though, with people being able to become like Dragonkind and all these strange classes and everything? I mean, and races?
It's still ultimately mathematically balanced. At least all the official material is mathematically balanced. Part of the problem with 5e, or with any system, is that since anybody can publish anything, people would blindly publish a bunch of stuff that is grossly overpowered or grossly underpowered. It just wouldn't fit into the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Glenn, Steve, Eric, anything? Any questions or any thoughts about anything? Or
no, I'm just sitting here absorbing it all.
Yeah, drooling over this.
I'm not. Listen, I am far from a game designer, so and I followed enough Kickstarters to see problems with Kickstarters, and I'm so glad David is the type that's like, what do I need to actually fund this project, not play with the Kickstarter algorithm of, well, I need 12K, but I'll only ask for 4 because I hate that, because that's when you get the real failures.
Yeah.
Because like I could I set 12K goal, and part of my for a couple of seconds I thought, well, I can set a 9K goal. I just don't pay taxes. and and will that work technically? But
technically it will in the short term, but then we'll be leaving. Wizards of the Coast will be the least of your worries. You start messing around with the tax man.
My goal is to not to publish for the sake of publishing.
Yeah,
I want to do it right.
And beware of the stretch goals.
Yeah.
Well,
They could sink you.
Well, that's another thing. One of the biggest worries that I've had is physical publishing and physical distribution. I've done plenty. I've done a few Kickstarters. None of them have been really big. I think my largest one was like a couple of grand. But none of them involved physical distribution. Well, one of them did.
Well, but at that level, though, POD distribution is easy.
Yeah, but there's still physical fulfillment is the reason why 9 out of 10 Kickstarters fail or go red or whatever, because they underestimate the actual costs involved in that. Like, if I'm going to fit, like, as part of my math, I fully expect that I'm going to print, a pallet full of books, and that it's not going to sit in a warehouse for 5 years without anybody buying them. Well,
and that's the thing. You can't, when you're doing fulfillment like that, you have your immediate. So at the end of your Kickstarter, okay, I have 425 backers. I got to print 375 books, whatever, you know what I mean? But you also have to worry about the ongoing. You want that backstock. But real quick, Scott Mulder asked a question. Says, so will Interstellar be Interstellar or ZONK moving forward? ZONK was originally called Open Worlds, and Open Worlds used a thing called the task level system. And Interstellar is based off of the task level system. So yes, ZONK and Interstellar are kind of like the same back-end mechanics, but they're flexible enough to where you can do missile mechanics, you can do melee combat, that type of thing. Glenn, you have a request. Doug Pearson says, stay awake, Glenn. Have a Coke and a smile. Have a rock and ride and a smile.
How about a smile?
Smile. Okay. Flor's drinking something. I don't know what he's drinking. Something alcohol based.
Corona's the only shitty beer they have here.
Oh, Corona. You're right. Crap. Blitz the Kraken says, what about behavioral mechanics? Can you situate them into the code, making it more dynamic in a world in an L? Oh, he's talking about ZONK. David, what's your thoughts on this?
Can I? Yes. Do I want to? Do we want to?
No.
Not particularly. We're gonna go into the AI discussion here.
I mean, if you want to touch it, I'm fine with that. I mean, you know what? AI is such a complicated thing now.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. And
I am not a fan of it.
mm-hmm.
Fully. There are certain aspects of it, like mainly the creative or content generation aspects of it, where copyrights, personal friends' copyrights have been violated, sort of thing. That aspect of it bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
But arguably, it's out there. Pandora's box has been opened, and like any Torment Nexus or any terrible technology. It really boils down to how you use it. Do you use it for the betterment of humanity or to destroy it?
I remember in 2009, Photoshop came out with brushes. And people were like, oh, you're using brushes. And what people don't know what brushes are is basically you can do a pattern. You can use a brush to do a pattern. So like you can use a brush to make mountains, consistent mountains up, on something. And people were like, but you're not drawing them. You're not creating nothing. That's like a bad thing. It's like, well, no, it's a tool. But it depends on how the tool is used. Like Eric, Eric uses, and I'm not talking out of school. Eric talks about this publicly. I mean, and I agree with Eric. Eric, real quick, how do you use AI? Just to kind of let you out of the horse's mouth.
I do 5 long form videos a week, and I don't have an artist that's going to keep up with me, let alone work for $5 a day. To work for a $5, no. But it's taken me literally 2 or 3 months to get the AI trained to where I get a consistent look that says the tavern, and it has that old school TSR look. It took a lot of work to refine that.
Real quick, hats off to this guy. Eric has shared with me his formulae that he puts into the AI. This isn't just Eric going, make an image that no, it's this massive instruction block.
And listen, even tonight later on, I'm probably going to revise that a little bit more because I use vidIQ, and vidIQ can analyze, and it doesn't do a great job at analyzing my thumbnails because it wants Mr. Beast thumbnails. But when you explain to it why your thumbnails look like they do, then it's like, oh, all right, you're going for that TSR aesthetics. But you need a bigger font that has more contrast, and you need a more central image. So now I'm going to have to work with Gemini.
But the difference but what you're doing between your AI and what David's talking about through his friends who've had their copyrights violated is 2 different things, because you're doing it for personal use, even though it's hi, Hemi. Steve's cat's horny. I see. But you're utilizing your AI, even though it's for your videos. You're not. How do I want to put this? You're not retailing out this product. It's just a video, so you're looking for consistency in your graphics and such.
Yeah, and it's working. And I am happy, but it took a while to get there. And if you're not on top of AI, you're going to get the why are the door hinges on the wrong side of the door? Which, trust me, your audience will find out. Somebody will notice it if you don't. So, AI is not an independent creator. It needs to be guided and handheld.
And I want to show something here, because a person went ahead and called me out on my personal page today about AI. He basically accused me of using AI, and he didn't really. He's an asshole about it. He's no longer on my friends list, by the way. I got rid of him. But I'm going to show you something here that he thought was AI, but this is why you got to be careful when you point fingers at people. Because sometimes you're not as smart as what the average bear is. Real quick. Okay, I posted this image about ZONK, and he pointed out right here. He was like, Don, not saying you know who. Well, what he didn't realize, instead of coming to me and saying, hey, why is that way? He would have known. I would have explained to him. Originally, I wanted to have a sword going up through Zonk. And I had cut that out because I wanted like the sword. I wanted to get more of like a RPG feel. And then when I stopped and I didn't use it, I forgot to remove forgot to fix my cut. Well, instead of just come to me and ask me about it, he went ahead. He basically was a jerk about it. And it's like, so be careful when you point fingers at people too.
People are very quick to point fingers,
Yes.
which is why I am very open to the fact that my thumbnails are generated using Gemini, which, by the way, is Google/YouTube's AI. So if anything's going to understand what a thumbnail that might work, I figure it's probably going to be the AI that works with the company that does the videos. We'll see. So,
yes, Steve.
Sorry.
Hemi is Birdie around for Hemi?
No, I think he's out of food again, Mr. Bottomless Pit.
Oh, yes.
Well, that'll do it.
So, I don't know if my girl will even show up on camera. No, she won't. That with I got to turn off the. Hold on.
And Scott does work for a very, very reasonable rate. Ah, there she is, looking at her butthole like my cats do.
No, she's not looking at her butt. She's cleaning her face.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, Sadie.
I'm allergic to cats.
PTT. Oh, you are?
Yes.
Oh, don't come to my house then. I'm loaded with female estrogen filled house with cats and women.
I discovered I was allergic to cats during a college interview at MIT.
Oh, geez. I hope it wasn't too
I'll
uncomfortable.
remember that one up there in October. We're dog people.
It did not go well.
Sorry.
I was a shithead when I was a teen. Shellback Bo says. Fugly says, I can feed your AI. I can feed AI your adventure, then ask it what sort of picture should be on the cover, see what happens. The thing with AI is, I think. Go ahead.
Two things. One, out of curiosity, I took the first chapter of Atomic Age, which I wrote 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I passed it to my AI provider. Has an AI detection page. And it told me that 100% what I wrote 10 years ago was written by AI.
Yep.
Secondly, when I did the Kickstarter, another issue that I had was that this was before I even talked to you about cover art and shit like that. So I found a piece of art that I liked, but big mushroom cloud.
Yep.
I found it on Free Pick, and I explicitly filtered out, or hopefully expected to filter out, things that were AI, and it said this is not AI. So I used it, and people started saying, "Hey, this looks like AI." So I contacted the artist, and I asked him, "Did you create this?" And his exact answer was, "Yes, I created this with Midjourney."
Well, technically, he created it with Midjourney.
All right, gentlemen, I got to swing over to my Discord.
Eric,
it's been a good time.
Good night.
Good night, Jen.
You're welcome tomorrow.
Good seeing you.
What?
You're welcome to be on the show tomorrow.
I'm running my open table tomorrow.
Fine, be that way.
Sorry,
no
Jen.
longer with the wee little people.
I know. I'll crash and burn.
All right, Eric. Have a good night.
Night.
Scott Mulder says, "Got to run. We'll catch up on replay. Please don't give David and Eric my contact. Oh, please, no, don't please give. Wait a minute. I think I know what you want. We'll get it taken care of. But also, in my defense, is I did a mushroom cloud image for David for the cover, and Kickstarter was kicking it back as AI, wasn't they? weren't they? And it's like, no, it's not AI. So all these damn AI detectors, they ain't worth a broke dick.
Originally, I was going to use BackerKit,
Yes.
and BackerKit said, "Hey, that looks like AI."
Yeah. Was it BackerKit was the one that was kicking it back? David's having an absolutely apocalyptic fit right now for Atomic Age.
He loves it.
Sorry, choking.
Oh, you all right?
I'm okay. I ran out of beer, so I got nothing to drink with. Anyway, yeah, Packer. What the hell happened to my voice now? Shit. Give me a second. Let me go get something to drink.
You're fine. Meanwhile, while David's gone, we're going to go ahead and talk about Glenn. So, what's the status of your second book happening?
Nothing.
Nothing. How's the medical and everything going? Everything going good?
Yeah, we're still waiting on starting the chemo. Like I said, they took the today, and then they said, oh, it'll be 5 to 7 days before we get the results. I said, so you're telling me another week?
They do it though, Glenn, because they want to make sure. That's a big, they got to make sure they get the dosages right. They got to make sure it's all right, my friend.
Okay, well,
because chemo can hurt you.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
Already, I can tell.
David, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Dave.
Okay, I'm okay now.
You okay, sonny boy?
I'm good. I'm good. All right. What was I saying? Shit. Yeah, we did a backer kit. I had cover art, and backer kit said, "Hey, this is AI," which was what led. And backer kit at one point said, "Yeah, no, you can't use our platform."
Yeah,
sorry.
But the thing is that there's a lot of other platforms that are doing that now, and that is Barnes and Noble and Amazon. In fact, just the other day we had another meeting over another author that I'm doing. She was doing kids' books, and they kept kicking her books back as AI. And the thing is she actually gives me the watercolors. I scan them, so she does the watercolor artwork. And we finally had a final meeting this morning on her and got it all worked out. But my question to Amazon is why are you rejecting it over AI? Because, you guys give some conflicting information. They're like, by and large, they're now going to start pushing more and more that if you have heavy AI-based artwork in your books, that they're going to be pushing back and not allowing you to publish. So that's something coming down the pipe with Amazon. Probably going to be in there probably mid spring 2026 update, for their contracts and everything they do.
With Kickstarter, you have to be very explicit as to how you use AI.
Yeah.
So, but they allow it.
Yeah. So, but
to be clear, I do not plan to use AI.
Yeah.
Let's establish that.
Yes. So, ballpark, when do you think you're going to be getting the Kickstarter for Atomic Age up and fired up? Any idea? Ballpark? Not holding your feet to the fire.
My goal currently would have probably been around August, September. I don't want to. I have it in my mind that I want to do it this year, but I don't want it to collide with the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
So if all goes well, by August or September, I might actually have some capital that I could promote. I can, buy ad space and get somebody to promote it and shit like that. So it is looking like it might be around that time.
Gotcha. So and then
that depends on when I get art for the listing.
Yes. But the thing is, for we get art for the listing, we got to kind of have a little bit more better art direction as far as we know about when we're going to be doing and what we're going to be doing, which we will have a discussion if you have time after this video. I want to sit down and talk to you about that. Plus, I want to talk about ZONK.
Sure.
So we will do that. So other than that, Steve, your cat seems to be having an epileptic fit happening to it. Blaine, you look absolutely enthralled. And other than that, I think we're pretty good. Beer is the cat antidote, Fuqua says. Yes, evidently. But David, I think we're gonna wrap this up. It's already 9 o'clock. But we had a lot of people asking questions, got a lot of information about Zonk out and also about Atomic Age, which is good. Is there a website they can kind of keep track of Atomic Age on, or is that coming up here pretty soon?
Oh, I have a website up there, but I have a domain, atomicagerpg.com, but I haven't touched the website in a while, so it might be a little dated.
Gotcha. Glenn, there you are. We got double Glenn now.
I got knocked out for some reason.
Yeah, but you've
There's two of you.
There's two of you now.
Let me
So,
check.
Yeah, there's a partial one over on the side there.
Let me see if I can kick him out. Let me
Let's see if
go
I can
and
go up here and grab it.
let me.
Oh,
remove-
and I'll throw out a shameless plug for the since we talked about AI, a little AI experiment
What's
that I
that?
did at ai.brainclouds.net,
Mhm.
where I took over 50 different language models and I posed them the virtue questions from Ultima 4. Basically, it was a moral experiment.
Yep.
And it had some interesting results.
Gotcha. And what's the website on that again?
ai.brainclouds.net.
ai.brainclouds.net. All right. So at that, I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and call it a night. David, thank you for coming on tonight.
Pleasure to be here.
Much
Thanks.
appreciated. Glenn, Steve, thank you for coming on tonight with us.
Folks.
David, you could stick on live for the video for a while when we're done. We'll
I'll
have
be
a
here.
little chat. And other than that, guys, thank you for tuning in. Everybody in chat, thank you for coming on tonight. Thanks for the input and questions and everything. And we'll be throwing some more information about Zonk here probably tomorrow after I talk with David tonight about Zonk specifically. And also on Wizard Tower, just throw some information about Atomic Age also, just for the hell of it. Why not? So
But
get
now
everybody.
you're going to make me update my website.
Gotta make it do it, yep. So Foogly, everybody else, thank you for tuning
Buy
in.
some books.
Buy books,
All right.
buy books. So